We do have to say that the iron sights that come with the weapon are extremely well made. I've been very happy with them. They're fully adjustable. And then the front sight being a fiber optic, perfect for competition shooting or just shooting in general. When it comes to this optic equipped top slide that we have right here, I'm not as big of a fan of it. That's not because I hate red dots. In fact, I love red dots, but the dot sits kind of conspicuously high on the gun. So I'm not a big fan of what it came with. That's kind of been my biggest complaint to them. I just don't like the dot quality, a lot of things about it. It should be noted that there's a lot of companies that do their own milling of these slides to make those dots sit very low. Like Mark III Firearms makes a really good kind of machining profile that they can do for this to get the acro to sit significantly lower on this guy. So this is something where I'd kind of recommend going with an outside manufacturer to get that. I know they probably won't be super jazzed to hear me say that, but we're beholden to nobody. So we can say whatever we want for the most part. Almost everything, right, Sawyer?
Yeah, you too.
Nothing that's going to prevent us from reviewing the gun, just mostly we can't say. Now the slide is obviously very stylized, but there's a couple things I really want to talk about here. We have the front and rear, and we have serrations right here. They're very deep, they're very stylized, but they're very, very functional. So when it comes to racking the slide on the Alien, this is something you should actually be doing quite often. We'll talk about that in a moment with manual of arms, but it's very necessary that this has good slide serration. So gripping at the front or at the rear, both work really well. So as far as like if you're doing the slingshot reload, it's very easy to grip onto that at whatever location and get that despite how wet it might get, rain, blood, whatever you might be getting on this gun. It's going to be easy to get it to actuate and to get back in the chamber to load your rounds. Now, that kind of brings us to what I thought was actually a problem, but ended up being my own problem. So let's talk about that. When it comes to a very expensive new technology like we have with the Alien right here, there's going to be a difference in manual of arms from what you're typically used to. So let's talk about that. This is one of those guns where the slide stop is truly a slide stop. They actually don't recommend using the slide stop to reload. Now, for me, that's just the way I've always been trained. I'm so used to Glocks, 1911s, where I've always run the slide stop, and I have heard the argument that the slide stop is a slide stop and it should not be used, and you should always slingshot your guns. I've never really seen any significant wear from Glocks that have 100K plus rounds on them, etc., etc. But when it comes to the Alien, when you're both holding it or if you're actuating it, you can cause some undue wear on it. So let's talk about that. So first off, when you are at slide lock, and if you use that slide lock to, as you can see, mine's pretty worn out at this point, to do that, you'll begin to wear on the actual slide catch. It will begin to peen the material and curl it over.